Welcome back, mere mortalites, to another edition of the Mere Mortals in Motion. This is week 11 of 12 weeks of the running phase. Now, if you tuned in into the previous week 10, you might have seen that the numbers started to deteriorate. What it looked like in week 11, well, even worse. But let's back it up first. Let's actually have a talk about what I was trying to achieve with the 12-week running phase. So originally, I set this out as a chance for me to do more running, being more time on my feet, getting more kilometers or essentially minutes in terms of running. And that went fairly well for a while. I was building up quite nicely in terms of the volume all the way up into weeks 6, 7, 8. And then I started to sort of hit a bit of a taper. I was roughly averaging at a 20-kilometer pace. And now getting into week 11, you'll see that the injury has really hampered that down. So previous week, it started to deteriorate down off the back of some longer runs. I started to feel it on my right calf. There was just some twinges. I started to feel almost as if a tendon was going to get pulled. So it wasn't pulled, but it was feeling like it. It was just really an overused injury. That's what was happening. So there was some learning. You can check that out. I already talked about it in the previous one. But so what does that mean for week 11? Well, I ended up shifting the running volume, I guess I would say, and swapped it out with a couple of different things. So that was bike riding. I did a lot of indoor bike riding, around 20 kilometers all up. I did do a lot more walking. So as the week sort of progressed for week 11, I did try to keep myself moving. So I was doing the Wednesday moving traditions with some people at work. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday sort of training, running plan completely went out the window. That just went completely haywire. And there was one run, throw up here, one particular run, a 2.4 kilometer run that I did end up doing in week 11. And that was just merely to test out the calf. Now, I can safely say it was okay. It didn't feel too bad. So, collectively, I believe I took about 5 to 6 days of that particular right-hand calf of mostly walking, but really just no running. And it was just using bikes to get myself in a movement pattern. And that was enough to essentially pull back from the overtraining I was doing. And I would probably put this hand in hand because someone would say, hey, is overtraining real? Whether it was partly overtraining, it was partly under-recovering. And to be honest, the under recovery bit was pretty huge. Lack of sleep, again, food's not been great. Not what you say is the best optimizing way to be doing it, the 12-week running phase, but that's a reality. That's what we call mere mortal. We're talking about the realities of life, not the pinnacles or an elite athlete here, just an everyday individual. So, really in summary, for week 11, it was really just a case of getting myself back out of that small little injury / prevention, rehab, prehab type of deal. It was fun of informing myself on what can I do around those feelings if I was to continue running for a much more longer term. Again, I've sort of pointed out in the previous week's conversation, but key learnings is I need to really understand when is enough and what level of volume am I scaling myself to, and then also, and this is what I'm going to find at the end of the 12-week running phase, I believe, is that I'm going to have to take some time off from running, just as I would do so if I was doing a very intensive powerlifting routine or cycle, or if I was doing a very intensive bodybuilding cycle, or if I was doing a very intensive insert whatever phase, and sort of pulling back, allowing the body to recover. For powerlifting specifics, like say CNS, your central nervous system, to relax, to recover, to then be able to go and put on those stresses. I guess talking about it more generally, we're saying you're trying to move away from that consistent barrage of stresses, allowing the body to almost baseline plateau at a higher level, hopefully, than you were, 12 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, whatever the cycle began, and then starting from a new base, if we want to sort of term it that way. So building up those bases, hopefully, where the improvement is seen long term. But specifically for week 11 for me, this was almost the beginning of, not the end, but the beginning of a bit of relaxation from running. And that was, of course, aided by just going too damn hard with it. So we'll see what the final week for the running phase has, and that's going to be the next one for the 12 weeks of the running phase. Then I'll do a retrospective, a summarization, overall retrospective, really kind of look into the numbers of what I said I was going to do, what I actually did, and just those broad high-level learnings that we sort of found along the way. So obviously stay tuned for all of those. If you've been enjoying me having these conversations obviously this one was a little bit less detail, even more so with, hey, there's just my general example from running and what I've been finding. Let me know. Again, I'm looking to do a few more of these going into different cycles, different routines, powerlifting, Olympic lifting, etc. So I'm going to continue to do them. If you want me to change them up, if you want me to find better ways to give value, if you want me to interview people, particularly through these cycles, which is one of the things I'm starting to plan out. And if you're looking at the video right now, I'm in a new room, a new setup, in a new location. And so that'll slowly start to become it's gonna be fun. So stay tuned to the videos in particular to this if you want to see some changes over the next couple of months, which I'm really excited for. If you want to support us at the podcast, Mere Mortals, you can go ahead and send through a boostergram. So that's a Satoshis with a comment attached to them. We read them out Wednesdays. Now, Karen's put out a bit of a message just as of recent. Karen's the co-host of the Mere Mortals podcast as well. So we'll be pulling back in our sessions, but we'll still try to be doing our 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time conversations. And so we read those out there. Boostergram is a way for you to send through a comment with Satoshis, and those Satoshis support us from a value perspective. So it's you returning value in the way that we are providing value to you. Go check out our supporter page. It's got quite a lot of details there. The Karen's put a lot of effort into how you can get involved in all of that. For now, Immortalized, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you're well wherever you are in the world. One out.